Hey everybody, and welcome back to Enemy Archives, which as of 2 seconds ago will be completely different from all the other episodes. So, it turns out there were quite a few reptile enemies left, but funny story, they're basically exactly the same in each game. In fact, some of these enemies are only in 1 or 2 games, so a whole video dedicated to each one seems like a little too much. Instead, we'll be rounding up all these leftover reptiles and stuffing them into a single episode because why not? So, hold on to your hats because we're gonna go through these guys pretty quickly. Get ready for Enemy Archives Leftovers. Does it sound weird to call them leftovers? Whatever. First in the list we have spiked beetles. Now, just from their name, they definitely sound like insects, but spiked beetles are actually far more similar to turtles. That is, if turtles had spiky shells. Spiked beetles appear in Link's Awakening, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, Four Swords, and the Minish Cap. In each of these games, spiked beetles are commonly found in dungeons where they walk around aimlessly. If one of these beetles spots Link, however, it will rush directly towards him, ramming him and dealing a bit of damage. The most straightforward way to beat spiked beetles is to block their attacks with Link's shield, which flips them over and exposes their weak point. In the Oracle games, Link can use Gale Seeds to teleport the beetles away, or he can even use the shovel to flip them over. Fun fact, in Japan, spiked beetles share a name with Spinies from the Mario series, and in Link's Awakening, they look awfully similar to their Mushroom Kingdom counterparts. Next up, we have the barely infamous Zazak. Zazaks have only shown up in 2 games, A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds, and they were pretty similar in both games. Zazaks are large reptilian soldiers who look similar to alligators, and they come in red and blue varieties. They populate some harder dungeons, such as the Thieves' Hideout and Ganon's Tower. Zazaks usually attack by running right into Link, charging directly at him on sight. In A Link to the Past, red Zazaks can shoot fireballs at Link, which can be blocked with the Mirror Shield. Also, red Zazaks have twice as much health as blue Zazaks. In A Link Between Worlds, they will try to prevent Link and the Thief Girl from escaping the Thieves' Hideout, sending them back to a cell if they catch up. Okay, I'll try not to get hung up on this one. The next enemy is the rope, but not the kind you climb. These ropes are snakes, who slither around various dungeons throughout the series. Ropes appear in The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, Four Swords Adventures, The Minish Cap, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, A Link Between Worlds, and Triforce Heroes. Funny thing is, they act basically the same in every single game. The typical behavior of a rope is as follows: slither around, spot Link, and speed towards him as quickly as possible. Is it just me, or do reptile enemies just really like charging straight at Link? Anyway, ropes are typically very weak enemies, though there are golden ropes in games like the Minish Cap or the Oracle games which take a ton more damage to defeat. There are also skull ropes, being snakes who wear skulls as helmets, but defeating these enemies is still a piece of cake. Number 4 on the list is the Terrorpin, a small-shelled monster that isn't really that scary looking. As it happens, they aren't too dangerous on their own, but alongside other enemies, Terrorpins can be very obnoxious. Terrorpins are commonly found in groups inside dungeons, though they are also part of a minigame known as Terrorpin Hockey. This minigame is in Four Swords Adventures, where the Links can earn some extra Force Gems by playing. As far as fighting goes, Terrorpins tend to leave the terror out and go with the pins. They slowly move towards Link to attack, only dealing damage on contact. While they cannot be hurt normally, like spiked beetles, they can be flipped over, except the item used to do this is usually a hammer. Flipping over a Terrorpin leaves them exposed to attacks, making them very easy to defeat since they're upside down. The big one on this list is probably the Staldra, an enemy solely found in Skyward Sword. These enemies are, in essence, skeletal hydras, and as such, they require some precision to defeat. They are found in the Skyview Temple and the Lanayru mining facility, but they go completely unused through the latter half of the game. Staldras are fairly competent opponents, so they usually take Link on alone, which is probably for the best. Staldras are tricky to defeat for one reason. They only die if all three of their heads are destroyed at once. They tend to only align their heads briefly before attacking, so it's really all about timing. Staldra eyes will turn red right before attacking, making them easy to parry, which in turn helps defeat a Staldra much more easily. Last, we'll have a few honorable mentions for reptiles who just weren't that interesting, but still, exist. The Geru is a type of enemy from Zelda 2 that wields a mace and a shield. These are some of the strongest enemies that Link will deal with besides bosses, unless you count water. Another one from Zelda 2 is the Daira, an alligator monster that throws axes. These axes are hard to block or avoid, making them pretty annoying. Sometimes these guys get confused with Zazaks, but you won't do that after watching this video, right? Last of the last regular reptiles is the Heatoise, a turtle, or should I say tortoise, crossed with a flamethrower. These creatures only appear in spirit tracks, and they are weak to electricity. However, after beating the first Heatoise, Link gets a bow that makes defeating them much easier. Which of these reptiles did you like the best? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. The finale of the Reptile series will come out in about 2 weeks, but that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time you're in the Legend Zone.